All right, so we'll quickly move on to the next panel right now. This is going to be about building resilient and scalable BFSI architectures with data and cloud. I'm going to be, first of all, inviting our moderator, and then I'm going to be inviting our panelists, and then I'll request all of them to join me on stage together. Thank you so much. So to moderate this session, we have with us the pleasure of having with us today Jatinder Mohan Singh Shah, CEO Mantra Capital. And to join Jatinder ji on stage, we have with us today Kinjal Shah, CTO Yes Securities, Prashant Deshpande, CDO and CISO Shriram Finance, Aditya Mishra, Chief Data Officer SBM Bank, Yashaswi Malot, Head Data Science, Data and Digital, Liberty General Insurance, and Devanshi Mittal, CTO, Maximo Capital. Ladies and gentlemen, can I have the biggest round of applause for all our speakers and panelists over here on stage, please? Thank you so much. Sir, pleasure to have you. Thank you so much. Pleasure, sir. Welcome. Thank you. Pleasure. Thank you. Hi, sir. Thank you so much. Pleasure to have you. Thank you, sir. Pleasure to have you. Please take your respective seats. And I'll request our moderator to take the seat over here. You're moderating the session, right? I'll request you to sit over here. Thank you. Do we have an extra chair over there? Or like one of our speakers is missing by any chance? Huh? We have everybody. So in that case, I think we can remove one chair, right? Yeah. So, sir, I'll request you to get going and start. This session is going to be about like 20 minutes long in the best interest of time. I know it's difficult.
No, it's PKC, brother. You can't mess around with it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Over to you, sir.
So thank you. Thank you very much. And, we'll not take much of the time, but I've got a couple of questions which I've written down and I've discussed with my fellow, participants here. And as they say that in today's time, artificial intelligence and machine learning is that pudding which everybody wants to eat. Nobody knows how it is made, but everybody is interested to know that why everybody else is eating it. So I think starting from there, my first question to Devanshi. Devanshi is the young CTO for a company called Maximo in Delhi, and they do MSME finance. Why scalability more critical today than ever for the BFSI segment, and how do cloud platform enable the same?
Yes, so definitely when we talk about scalability, so for BFSI, it's not just, about handling more users or data or transactions, but it is also about being ready for like tomorrow's opportunities and shocks and providing like a good seamless customer experience as well as staying compliant in this, dynamic regulatory environment. So of course, cloud definitely helps to handle all of that. So in terms of definitely the surge, the demand, you can adjust, scale up, scale down the computing resources. But more than that, using cloud, the development to production journey has become much shorter. So we can have more financial services available, financial products to the customers. And then with using cloud comes high availability and the inbuilt security, automatic updates, which also helps BFSI to stay compliant. So it is definitely very critical in today's time.
So I think that brings me to the second question, which is related, and Prashant, I would like you to answer that. In terms of when you talk about cloud-first environment, there are challenges on security aspect and scalability of the same. What are your opinion as a CISO? And specifically when you look at it from a very large institution coming from Shriram.
Yeah, thank you, Jasinderji, and thanks to organizers to call us over here. Very critical, like I'll stick to basic only. When we talk about information security, we always talk about three pillars, okay? Confidentiality, integrity, and availability. I will talk the third pillar first because the incident is very recent, okay? Due to geopolitical condition, one of the organization could not have access to their mailing services, okay? So this cloud has become like a chakravyuha, okay? All these technologies, are good to have, but at the same time, we just need to ensure that how we are going to protect these three pillars of any new emerging technology or any adoptions we are going to do. And this incident specifically brought in picture where, like suddenly, they says that you have almost 60% of your organization data in your mailbox, okay? And suddenly your mails are stopped. Where are we? Okay? Those, what are the fallback plan for us? So we just need to understand this in totality. And as the privacy is going to come, it's going to be very critical because the data retention is one of the key in data privacy. And unless and until you have visibility that where your data is flowing, how you are going to ensure the retention of those things. So I feel that you cannot wait and watch for the new technology. You need to adopt it, but just ensure that you are in that assurance framework and you protect those three pillars: confidentiality, where our regulators are very smart. They are just like, bring your own encryption, bring your own key, where we are going to protect our data irrespective of what they want to do. Integrity also we are going to protect. Availability is something where we need to understand the localization of data, the privacy of data, the visibility of data, and how we are going to protect this thing. These things are the basics. We need to stick to that. And once we have all those things, and as regulator very specifically mentioned, right to audit, okay, is very critical. You have right to audit. Just do the audit continuously. Ensure that your data is safe, your data is visible. That's all, and you're good to go.
No, I think that's important because, when you talk about data security, you have to go back to the basics. Because if you miss the basics, that is where I think RBI or the regulator every time has been talking about कि आप basics पे ध्यान दीजिए. And then that's how you should build your technology stacks going forward. I'm just jumping question because of the paucity of time. So my question to, Aditya is, when you talk about AI and ML capabilities and specifically on the cloud platform, how do you increase the operational efficiency or I would say fraud detection? Is there a way around to do that? Because you also come from a great amount of experience and, representing SBM, which has been known as one of the most friendly banks as far as, fintechs are concerned. Over to you, sir.
Sure, that's a great question actually. So see, cloud, before cloud actually, it's important for banks to maintain the business as usual activities. I think it's foremost. And second important thing is that we are the custodians of the people's money basically. These are the basically two things which are very, very important for us. Now, these are the basically two dimensions on which we have the surrogates and other key surrounding elements are basically designed. Cloud, of course, because we can scale and the seamless customer experience, providing the right amount of product and services at the right time to the customer. That is possible if we implement the technologies. Of course, cloud is a hosting model, I would say. It is not that cloud can solve all the problems. Okay. I'm just putting the practicality part of it. But using the right set of technology based on the problem statements you particularly have, because every bank has a different kind of a problem statements. So it can't be a generic solution. So whatever exactly your key imperatives are, which you want to basically achieve, and of course in a tangible form, I would say, and then you design and devise your cloud strategy, and then you start with your deployment. I think these are the basically things which I have learned from my experience, and ensuring the cloud journey is right. Now, of course, AI and ML, these are maybe the buzzwords of today, but if you see, AI, ML existed from long time back. Of course, their use cases were different, but now, since the compute and storage and scalability has become very seamless, so these technology components are now available for day-to-day usage. So from a banking perspective, of course, we use, because customer onboarding, KYC is one of the most critical area for banks, right? And since our banking model, because we are a kind of a neo banking model where basically we have a partnership-based model, we have a lot of this fintech fraternity from where basically we onboard most of our customers. So therefore, we are using our AI and ML models extensively to ensure that we are onboarding the right level of customers. All the KYC related checks are proper. And then kind of the seamless journey is basically kind of taken forward. So these are the basically few things which we are using from a practicality perspective of it.
Oh, sure, thank you very much. And I move on to Kinjal. Kinjal, again, I will go back to the same question because I think in today's time, data security and compliance is actually not the need of the hour. That's the thing because, time and again for the last 2 years, we have seen a lot of regulatory changes which are coming in, and specifically to data security, compliance, these things are becoming more and more important, specifically for banks. And I think now the same thing is moving on to the NBFC space also. Earlier on, NBFCs were a little bit, I would say, little away from a lot of these aspects, but today's time, I think that is becoming very important. So in a cloud-first environment, how do you see data security and compliances? Are they in line? Are we moving away? How do you see that?
I think it is 2 steps backward and 1 step forward. So with cloud, what is happening, and with whatever online applications we are getting, the attack surface increases. Previously, you're only allowing check balances of banks or NBFCs. You are not allowing other things. Now there are digital only initiatives, like maybe you can get your loan sanctioned in 10 seconds. Maybe if you go to a branch, it might take more time. So your attack surface is increasing because you are consuming and displaying a lot of data online to levels which was not heard of before. Now even a lot of your core banking data is going online. So you have to ensure that the personal data of the customers is protected, how much of the data you are consuming, how you are storing that data, what is the auditability of the data. So you have to look at all these aspects, both from a security point of view and a regulatory point of view. So the good part is that regulators have come out with a lot of regulations in the last couple of years, which helps you streamline a lot of these aspects. So that is one part, and second is security. I think as and when with the geopolitical tensions, earlier it was only US, Israel and China. They used to share 1, 2, 3 spots. Now after the G20 and all, even India is becoming a bigger target. So with all of that, I think recently I read somewhere that when G20 was held over here and when Operation Sindoor was there, the number of attacks on Indian cyberspace went up significantly. So with that aspect, you have to always ensure that your data is always secure. So there should be a secure first design. You cannot just throw applications into the system and then think of profitability and security would be later. So I think that you have to be a part of the rollout itself.
I agree. I'll just change the mood in terms of now taking a comparison between an NBFC and a banking fraternity perspective. Now today what is happening is that real-time data architecture, these things are now available. Today we are talking about real. 5 years back it would have been innovation, but today this is real. So my question is broken between you, Aditya, and Devanshi. Is that in terms of, is it helping to really make the decision making faster? And if it is faster, is the risk management perspective also been taken care of? So I want you to answer from a banking side and you from an NBFC perspective. So that will give a wholesome idea to the general public at large.
Sure. So if you see a typical architecture, because of course in a banking system it's a complex system, like because you have a whole lot of services we offer, right? Like for example, personal loan, business loans. Then you've got these are on the asset side. Then you have got the liability side of the products.
But on a lighter note, sir, typically I've seen that bankers will always say banking is very complex. And then when it comes to NBFCs, they will say, no, it's fine, it's not very complex. When it goes to fintech, they say, no, it is not very complex, they only make it complex. So, it is, sorry.
So, see, basically, you have to understand that the regulator is basically very hard on us, actually. And so accordingly, we can't miss the regulator at any point in time. Maybe I have very good disruptive idea, that's fine. But I have to see whether it is really taking the lay of the land or not from their perspective. Because we can't forget that the audits are basically there, and we are accountable for whatever decision we are taking, right? From the technology, architecture.
Completely
whatever.
agree, because I think what SBM has done, where it was and where it is now, I think you guys have disrupted.
Yes.
You guys supported the fintech fraternity, and of course, there's a different story that how the regulator took it.
Yeah.
But from that perspective,
that's an interesting thing you said. So we have learned actually. In fact, we know that in a fintech-driven banking model, right? What exactly your data points are, which you need to ensure that they are always checked from a regulatory standpoint. Of course, that we have learned from our experience, because it's a very different, unique kind of a banking model basically we had. So yeah, it's a learning. But coming back to your question, so since there are a lot of whole lot of services you offer to the customer, so which means that you will have different systems. Like for example, for your core banking is one side of it. For loan systems, another system. Then you have got your card systems, both credit card, debit card. So you have many systems you have. Now, getting the data on a real-time basis, putting it into a enterprise data lake kind of a structure, and then you are doing your reporting and analytics on an almost T basis. I'm not saying T-1, but T basis. This is possible because of this, the revolution which we had on the architecture space. Because 5 years back, we never used to have these kind of things. Now, at least arriving at a customer 360 view, like for example, arriving at a total relationship value of the customer, and basis that driving the hooks, ensuring that the right level of services are served to the customer, not mis-selling the products. So these things are possible because of this, because earlier it used to be very difficult to understand what exactly my customers are holding. Like for example, because you have all the data residing everywhere. So unless you have a master data management kind of a solution implemented, it will be difficult to understand. But now with this kind of an architecture which the technology provides, like for example, cloud and other service providers are, so it has become very easy now to understand the customer journey and then accordingly drive or sell the right kind of products to the customer.
Got it. Devanshi, you would like to add? You want to take this mic?
Yeah, so again, I completely agree. And for an NBFC, definitely the real-time data, architecture is very important, as our customers are MSME. So the data points play an extremely big role in the credit assessment to begin with. So we definitely need the alternative data sources. So real-time GST, banking, credit bureau, all of that integration definitely keeps our operation running smoothly and gives the customer the loan application processing within the time frame that they want to, instead of what we can offer them. And then in terms of again the risk management, so it really helps us to keep an eye on our loan portfolio, collections, NPA, delinquencies, all of that. So real-time data architecture is very critical for us again, and it really helps with the operations, risk management, and early warning signals as well, which are important for us to mitigate any risk. And then again, in the future, I think like some kind of collaboration among all the key players, so between lenders, fintechs, insurance, all of that can really help in building like a safer, more resilient financial ecosystem where we can kind of collectively mitigate risk. So yeah.
No, I agree. I think, Dekhe, ultimately that is what I think the regulator is trying to do for the last couple of years, and in last 5 years, this solid action which is happening, whether it is account aggregator or it's anything that you take up, they are trying to do that so that data is not proprietary to anybody, and that data should be available till the time the customer is okay to give the consent. Now, how do you take that consent? And there are issues against, and then data privacy, all of those issues will come in. But as you rightly mentioned, I think that's the ecosystem that we're trying to build. I think I will now kind of move to my last kind of a question, because we're running short on time. We talked about the cloud architecture, we talked about data. So, Kinjal, I would like to come to you that are there any specific KPIs which the organization should look at when you want to look at the effectiveness of cloud and, data architecture?
So when you look at cloud, you will obviously look at performance indicators, latency, but look at two main things. One is the mean time to resolution. Because some people have single cloud, some people have multi-cloud, some people have cloud plus on-prem. So end user customer doesn't matter whether what architecture. So what is the mean time to resolution is important. And second is what is the service level agreements. Maybe you have two applications deployed from two different fintechs and they are on your single cloud. But then if the cloud service provider and the fintechs are fighting with each other, then the SLA has to be defined. So the boundaries need to be defined on where one system ends and where the other starts. So the edge cases need to be covered properly. Otherwise, you will spend time moving in circles and then there would be a significant lapse of different activities. And with the regulator coming even more now, there have been circulars on technical glitches. What is the definition of a glitch? Even if 1% of the clientele is affected, then also we have to report it as a glitch. So the time to recover from issues has to be very high. Plus, when you're moving across multiple clouds, you have to take care of the configurations. Most of the clouds are very simple because they allow you to configure. But the chance to misconfigure is also equally high. So that you need to look at it, and you need to have drills also, like mock drills on introduce an issue, look at how to come out of it, look at deployment cycles, look at patching, look at what are your you have to upskill your people because more and more things are configuration based, so you have to allow them to use the tools. So just to give you an example, one of the firms, they were just taking a copy of the cloud baseline, and they were giving a instance in 2 minutes. But then there was a lot of hardening required because maybe this was the first copy that was created at the time of go live. After that, clouds come up with newer versions every 15 days, every month. Then it is better to use a hardened copy. But people just followed process of taking the first copy that was ever generated and making deployment. So then hardening again is an activity. So you have not saved anything with the cloud. So that piece is small nuances, but that need to be taken care.
Prashant, maybe the last question to you is...
MC is also staring at us. So
Last question to you. As a CISO, what will not make you, sleep peacefully at night from a cloud architecture perspective? Is there anything that you have in your mind which will say कि यार ये ठीक नहीं चलेगा तो मेरे को रात को नींद नहीं आएगी?
No, I will not talk about cloud specifically, but the third-party risk. Like when everything is within your premises, you have a visibility that what is happening and how to control it. When it goes, like cloud is just a platform, but when we go to cloud, we try to use a lot of native services also. Right. Okay, so we know that he is the third party, but subsequently his dependency on fourth party, fifth party, and all those things, those visibility needs to be very clear. Because today, if you ask me, third party is one of the major risk which, like all the organizations should address it effectively, because agreements and everything are, it's good to have NDA agreement and everything. But what exactly been followed at that level, we need to have visibility on that front. And second, specifically, the risk of any emerging technology, because the way cloud is changing, any emerging technology. So we always, we want to wait and watch, do a POC and everything. Hackers has to just, success one time. We have to be success every time. So they are not worried about, they don't have a fear of failing. They'll just adopt anything and they will just shoot it. If it's success, good. If it's fail, okay, try next. So we just need to ensure that how we will match the speed of bad actors when we are protecting our information, either on-prem or cloud. It's same for us actually.
No, I agree. And thank you very much. I think those are very, very insightful thoughts, starting from the basic KPIs to how an NBFC or a bank would look at it, and then, moving on to a third-party risk. I think the risk remains, and as you rightly mentioned, you have to be a step ahead of the so-called, the bad elements or the bad guys with the hackers, and they are sitting there. Maybe one of them is there in the audience also, listening to your ideas, and how do you hack it? But thank you very much. I think this was a difficult topic, and to do it in 20 minutes, I think was difficult for me also. But thank you for being, participating. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much. Please give them a big, big, big round of applause, and give them a bigger round of applause. I'll tell you why. Because they have not just touched base upon everything, but they have also finished it in 20 minutes, exactly what I had hoped for. Thank you so much. Zor se tali, please, for all of them. Thank you. I'll request Vaibhav ji to please kindly come up on stage and give away the token of appreciation to all our esteemed guests over here. Ek aur baar Vaibhav ji ke liye bhi zor se tali, please. He has been doing that since the first session, and he deserves every bit of the appreciation. Come on. Yes. That's now matching the vibe with the music, yes. And I'll request all of you to stay back. Because once all the individual giveaways are done, we want a nice group photo of all of you together. It's not every day that we have all stalwarts coming together under one roof, right? So it's important we make that a memory. Please come forward. Aesthetics very important in today's world of social media. We don't want any sort of photo bombing, especially with tables and all.